Hi friends, this is Atul with Sai Patrikar. So in today's SQL Server tutorial, I will show you how to quickly find the number of parameters used by any store procedure or function in Microsoft SQL Server. So this is especially useful when you are documenting database objects, auditing code, or analyzing legacy database. So now I am opening that MSS SQL Server Management Studio 22. Now I'm connecting with my local server, local database. So we'll show you that demo using SQL Bank database. So we have multiple methods that we can find the count of parameters. So the method one is SQL Server stores metadata about procedure and function in system catalog view. So we can use sys.objects and sys.parameter to retrieve parameter counts. Okay, so first of all I am going to write a raw script, sys.objects o, and we'll use the left join if in case that objects are not found. That's the reason I'm using the left join here. sys.parameters p. Then I'm going to join based on the o dot object id equal to p dot object id. Now here you can see we'll execute this store procedure. So you can see we got that procedure names, object IDs, then type of description, created date, modified date. So this metadata stored in SQL Server. Whenever you are creating any objects in SQL Server, on that time that objects metadata will store in this sys.objects. Now we need some specific types, so I'm going to add type here. Okay, so o dot type in, so p is for procedure, fn for function, and if is inline function, and tf is table valued function. So in our case we need only that object name, o dot name, and we need count. So we don't require that object type, so we require count only. Count. So we are going to check that parameter id is greater than 0, then we are passing 1, else we are passing that actual count of that objects. Okay, so now here I am adding case when p dot let me check that actual column name here. Okay, p dot parameter id greater than 0, then 1 and bracket close as parameter count or para count. So now again I am going to execute this. Okay, so here we need to add that group by clause, because our name here we use this parameter id and we use this count function here, so that's the reason we need to use group by o dot name. Now here you can see, so in call we pay parameter user agent, so that parameter, there is no parameter, these two procedure are parameterless. So here you can see there is one parameter, you can see one function, there is one parameter, you can see here function, there is a 3 parameters. Okay, so like this we can fetch, we can check that count of parameter here, and order by name DESC. So here you can see we have total 15 parameters. So I will show you that as also. Okay, so here you can see in that proc transaction there is total 9 parameters. So I will show you that proc transaction, programmability, store procedure, and proc transaction. Okay, so here is the procedure, and under that here is that parameters. Okay, so 9 parameters showing, you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. So now, so we'll explain you this. So this sys.objects, so sys.objects contain procedure and function. So that procedure and functions metadata stores under that sys.objects, and this is the view. You can see this is system defined view, and that next one is sys.parameter. So sys.parameters also is view. So you can see that contains parameter information with that object id. For example, this search all tables is the object that store in sys.objects, and this parameter count we can this parameter stores in sys.parameters. So we have joined based on our o.object id and p.object id. Okay, so we join both using object IDs, and then parameter is greater than 0, so we exclude function return values here. For that we use this case statement here, and the result shown object name and parameter count. So here is the object name and here is the parameter count. Okay, so the next one is, I am going to comment out this. So method 2 is now here select star from sys.parameters. Okay, so if you want to check a single object, so we can use this method. Okay, so we'll show you where object id equal to object id. This function is used to find that object. Okay, so we'll use this same store procedure name here. Okay, and and parameter id is greater than 0 and group by object id. That bracket is missing here. Object name is we are passing object underscore id, that is name, and then we are passing that count star, yes, para count. Okay, now I'm going to execute the method 2. So you can see here we got that exact output. So this method 1 is used for all objects, and this method 2 use for particular objects. Like you can pass that function or procedure name here, so based on that you can find that count here. So if you want to display that data type as well, that parameter with the data type, okay, so to see the parameter names, data type and their orders, so we use method 3. So we require the same script for this, so I'm just copy and paste that script. So here we need parameter id, then we need name. We use that system defined function type name. Under that type name we are passing user underscore type underscore id as data type. Okay, data type, and same, we already have these things. Where object id equal to this transaction and parameter id is greater than 0. Okay, so now I'm going to execute this. Okay, so we need to column in it will contain either aggregate function. Okay, so we miss here you don't require this group by clause here. Okay, so you can see we have total 9 parameters, and that parameter id is 1, that parameter name is @transaction id, and data type is int. So like this you can see that all parameter details with that parameter name and data type. So this helps you understand exactly what inputs the procedure or function accept. So you can use this method 3. So and that's how you can quickly identify parameter counts and details for store, procedure and function in SQL Server using system catalog views. So if you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more SQL Server tips and database administrator tutorial. So thank you for watching this video.